He was just joking around with his girlfriend. It was super playful. It wasn't anything bad. I guess if you're very, 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 very sensitive, that could be seen as like a offensive joke. But if you just like don't understand comedy or don't have a sense of humor, I guess, because the joke wasn't like, oh my god, your dog's a Nazi. The joke was at the expense of Nazis. It was bashing Nazis, saying that they're not cute. He lives in Scotland. I'm not really sure like what the laws over there are, but apparently they're like super just fucked, because he was charged, I think initially he was charged with a hate crime. This all happened like a year ago. I mean, honestly, just let that sink in. Like, to begin with, he was charged with a hate crime for making a joke video where a dog raised his paw. He didn't actually kill the Jew, but he's been, like, through court and stuff, like, in the past year since he got charged or whatever, and today he was found guilty of being grossly offensive. You know, you can argue all day that, like, oh, you shouldn't make, like, offensive jokes because, like, they might hurt someone's feelings, which is fine. You are allowed to get offended over things, but that doesn't mean the person saying the thing has to stop speaking. That's why we have the First Amendment. If someone is saying something that you don't like, you can say, hey, I don't like that, and that's fine. You're both exercising your freedom of speech, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean they aren't allowed to say it. Allowed to criticize what people say, and they're allowed, they have to take that criticism. You don't have to shut up just because you're saying something now that they don't like. It's not difficult to but I don't care. You can make as many offensive jokes as you want. I'll probably laugh. It's probably funny. You can say the most deranged fucking shit that you want. I don't really care at all. But no matter what you say, the government shouldn't be allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to say that. And I understand that Scotland's a different country, and I already said I don't know what goes on over there, but you shouldn't be in prison. That's what free speech is. You shouldn't go to jail. He's facing 6 months, sorry. He's facing 6 months in prison, which isn't that long, but he shouldn't have any jail time. It was a joke. No, for whatever reason, there was a bunch of, like, split opinions on freedom of speech, like, what kind of speech is too far. I personally don't think any speech is too far. You can say literally whatever you want. There shouldn't be restrictions on it. It's the most fucking, like, basic human thing. You can say the most, like, racist, fucking fucked up shit. That's fine. You're protected under the law, but people can question you. Is what is so good about the First Amendment, is because we have absolute freedom of speech. I mean, not so much anymore, but that's what the First Amendment was for. We can say anything, and people can challenge you, and that racist motherfucker in Kentucky can be like, oh my god, I hate black people so much, fuck black people, and you can be mad at that, obviously, but he shouldn't go to fucking jail for it. He's not hurting anybody. It's just a very slippery slope, because once you start restricting free speech even a little bit, it gets to the point where suddenly, you know, all of a sudden we're in Soviet Russia, and, you know, it's so stupid that he made a joke. I'm gonna keep saying that, because he made a joke, and but he could face 6 months in prison. Are, like, the authorities in Scotland just so bored? Like, is there not anything more serious going on? No one's getting murdered, you know? You have to put this guy in prison for making a joke on the internet? Like, what the fuck? Another thing I want to talk about, though, is what he was charged with was being grossly offensive, which I don't know if that's, like, an actual crime in Scotland. But I don't understand. But my problem with that is that people are offended by different things. I am offended by not much, but something, I'm sure. And other people are offended by different shit. Take something as subjective as being offended and turn that into, like, a law. Because who determines what is offensive? Who? Who determines that? That's not a good law. What the fuck? Say that, like, your sister or someone that you know got raped, and then, but, like, nobody really knows about that because it's not something you really just talk about. So, a complete fucking stranger makes, like, maybe a question in a group of, like, people, maybe at, like, work or something, and you don't really know these people that well, like, outside of work, and they don't know that your sister got raped, but then they make, like, a little, like, edgy rape joke, and you get offended, but they didn't know, and now they're going to prison. Your argument to that is, like, well, people shouldn't be telling rape jokes in the first place, and sure, you know, that's your belief, you can believe whatever you want, but people are legally allowed to make rape jokes if that's what their heart desires. They shouldn't go to jail for making a joke. But, like, the law shouldn't protect you from getting offended, because it's not, like, the end of the world if someone says something that you get offended over. Fucking deal with it. Oh my god, remove yourself from the situation. Don't talk to that person. And then the other side of that just stupid law is, because no one knows what is offensive, you could be like, oh my god, like, Sally really offended me when she stepped on my toe. Fucking book her ass. Again, you can say all day that he shouldn't have made that joke, like, that was just a bad joke, and he shouldn't have done the joke, so, like, you know, he made his own bed. But no matter if the joke is shitty or not, he shouldn't be going to jail for something like that. And that's the thing about jokes. That's, like, the whole point of them. You're not supposed to take them seriously. Just because someone says, like, a racist joke, it doesn't mean that they believe it. It's just funny to joke about stereotypes. Jokes about, like, 9/11, jokes about the Holocaust, jokes like that are funny because it's not making light of the actual situation. It's sort of poking fun at the fucking evil person who did it. In this situation with, like, the pug doing the Nazi salute, the joke isn't like, oh yeah, ha, go Nazis. The joke is, your adorable puppy is doing this awful thing that's fucking hilarious. Like, that is just funny. Irony. I don't understand how people don't get it. How people are like, do you think it's funny to say gas the Jews? Yes, I think it's funny. What the fuck? It was a funny joke. That's, like, a big thing about, like, comedy about, like, 9/11 and shit like that. Like, it's almost never, unless you're, like, a really awful person, it's never joking about the tragedy. It's always, like, a coping mechanism. No one who makes fucking Holocaust jokes genuinely thinks that the Holocaust was, like, a good, funny thing that happened. They're just trying to fucking wrap their head around how someone could be that just fundamentally evil. I've just lost all hope for humanity at this point, because if you can go to jail for posting a video on the internet, then we might as well all just kill ourselves.